That's more from the GQ interview. It's been about a week now. There's been a lot of dissection of that interview. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And good on them. Good on them, man. We didn't get to this part of the conversation because we really focused on the hip hop battle piece of it, which was the juiciest part from last week. But I think as people got into it more, people started really getting into this billionaire thing and this capitalist thing. This is something that gets thrown at Jay-Z a lot. There's certain people that when they rear their head and start talking, it's like the same conversations, the same critiques get thrown at them each time. Some have merit, some don't. Whenever Dr. Dre rears his head and talks and has a project, people gonna bring up D Barnes, right? It's going to happen. You know, if Jay-Z comes up and starts talking, people going to talk about his business affairs and the money he's amassed. They're going to talk about the NFL. They're going to talk about Cap. Okay. Funny enough, Cap did not come up in this conversation. The NFL kind of came up, but it was more of a, it wasn't a real deep conversation about the NFL and all of that. But the capitalism thing did come up, and I like the question and I like the conversation that's coming from it. The biggest question that comes from this is Jay-Z a capitalist? I think that's pretty obvious. And now that he's become a billionaire, people are having conversations about billionaires. So I ask it straight up, P and then Nargis, should billionaires exist?
Man, that's a tough. Well,
deep, huh?
Yeah, should they?
Deep.
I
That
mean,
man said,
Yeah.
it's not for me to say. Like people that have people that have worked to get themselves in a certain place, right? Like people
You can't just answer this shit, man. You gotta give us a second, dog. Man said, oh man, oh my God.
"Oh man,
people that have worked to like get themselves to a certain place. I'm not going to say what someone should or shouldn't have, right?
right."
But like
Right.
when we think about certain things, right? And obviously Tupac made a mention about a lot of these things a long time ago. He was only talking about millionaires, right?
Yeah.
When you think about the fact that that a person like Jeff Bezos and other people has like I think it's like
Yeah.
147 148 billion dollars to themselves, right?
Yeah.
Elon Musk has however amounts of billions of dollars that he has, right?
I think it's like
And
600 billion.
and all the
Stupid.
other multiple people that have that, and there's still problems that exist on this earth. You understand what I'm saying? Like we still fight homelessness every day. We still fight hunger every day. We still fight all sorts of things every day, all sorts of injustices every day, right? So like to blankly say, should billionaires exist? There's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can do to stop that. Right. There's nothing that we can do to stop that. There's no regulations in society that says like once this person has this much, there's a cutoff. Right. I would love I don't think that one person needs 600 billion when other people still have problems, but there's nothing that we can do about that. Like there's
There's things you could do, but people wouldn't like it. There's things you could do. But we, I don't want to. We don't got to debate.
Yeah. No, I'm not even. What I'm saying is like philosophically, I would love for everyone to have things, and I would love for the fact that I think that a lot of can actually be solved if people actually cared. You understand what I'm saying? Like if those elements of monies were distributed certain places, that we could help a large part of society's problems. but I don't
I can dig
know.
it.
I don't know how we get there.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Nargis, what you think? Should billionaires exist?
I mean, the should is the throw off word, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
from a moral stance, it's like no,
Mm-hmm.
because I think, you know, with that type of wealth, there's just a certain degree of like corrupt power. Like I said, it builds out
You mentioned. Mm-hmm.
it builds out that bubble, right? It creates insulation. I always when we have that money conversation, I always think about that movie that people didn't like for whatever reason. It had Justin Timberlake in it, the End Time.
Oh,
Did y'all see
end
that?
time joint. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love that
I
movie,
like that movie.
right?
Yeah.
People have shitted on it a lot, but I just think it was a great metaphor. I don't know if I'm using that
Uh-huh.
correctly,
Yeah.
of like haves and have-nots.
Right.
Yeah.
People who can, if you have if you have the money, you have the time to literally live forever. Wow.
Right.
The people who don't,
Right.
Yeah.
are fighting literally
Mm-hmm.
for their lives,
Mm-hmm.
you know, down to the second.
Yeah.
And then they just disappear.
Yeah.
And I think that is what extreme wealth does, because there's no parameters around what you do with it. It's mine. You can't tell me what to do with my money.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to
Mm-hmm.
invest
Right.
90% of my money into nuclear war and, you know, be a private donor to, you know, create this monopoly and ultimately turn my family into like this silent dictatorship of the universe and figure out how I can outsource to take over the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping anyone. There's no one who can stop me from doing that if I have
Yeah.
the means, right? So should is an interesting way to put it,
Yeah.
because humans are corrupt, right? We're tempted.
Yeah.
We get tempted all the time. So many
Yeah.
examples of it. So in an ideal world, the less money you have, the less power you can wield over people who don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just so few and far between examples, because you don't want to give away so much because you want to keep your status.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I would like them not to, but you know, if I were to create my societal structure,
Mm-hmm.
no, they would not exist. We would be on some Ubuntu shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
But it
because
ain't
they do,
happening.
it ain't happening, man.
Well, no, it's probably not going to happen. But there is the reason why I ask it that way is because it's a question that's been asked and has been asked and there's a conversation that's going on. There's a lot of conversations that I could, you know, guide you to people that are having these conversations right now. A lot of viral clips, you know, again, for like Mark Lamar Hill and the crew go viral often. But the conversation they were having, and you know, there are a lot of people that just say no, like the answer is straight up no, right? And there are a lot of people that their answer is no to capitalism. That capitalism is a corrupt engine that doesn't work. I don't know if I agree with that or not. I'm not sure I have the expertise to really give a deep, detailed answer on like the mechanisms of capitalism and then what
Mm-hmm.
system should work, socialism, what, you know, what should work, right? I think there's pros and cons to all of them. And, you know, if I want to be performative, I'm just going to go, nah, billionaires shouldn't exist and Jay-Z is corrupt. And so to go to Jay-Z real quick, Jay-Z mentioned in that clip that he has never, in his words, has never harmed anyone to get to where he got, right? And he feels like the moment black folks, him,
Mm-hmm.
Oprah, Rihanna, Kanye, Braun, this new batch of billionaires, right? Who, this isn't to shoot bail to any of them, but let's just be honest, that's not the same kind of billionaire that Elon Musk and
Jeff
you know,
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos are. These are, and I'll get to that in a second. But they're still billionaires nonetheless, right? Rihanna is a billionaire off of the skincare industry,
Mm-hmm.
which
And
is
her
one of
lingerie.
the worst,
Fenty.
one of the worst. Okay, you talking about torturing, and I mean it's bad. Like like to get these products made, you hurting people and hurting things. Okay, Jay-Z sold crack. Okay, Jay-Z sold crack. The crack didn't get him $1 billion, but the crack put him in position to get the label to get to $1 billion. Okay, so it's not accurate that you've never hurt anyone to get to where you got, right? But then when I hear you all say, especially with you in particular, Paul, ain't nothing you could do about it, that's when it does get down to like, and Nargin's point about humans, that's when it does get down to like, well, yeah, we can all be starry-eyed and say we're going to come up with this system that's going to work. Say we go to a socialist system tomorrow, right? Bless you. Say we go to a socialist system tomorrow. Well, then you're putting a lot of money and a lot of power in the hands of the government to distribute things off, right? So what is the perfect system? I have no idea. I'm sure there's someone smarter than me that would go, Adam, is this, right? I do agree with Jay-Z in the sense of like, I'm not sure people cared until we started getting it. But there's probably a reason behind that, right? And the reason behind that is like, okay, so we're going to start amassing great amounts of wealth, especially if you're Rihanna, Hove, Oprah, you know, whoever else, LeBron. Then what are you doing with that money? Because black folks are supposed to be communal. We're supposed to be in a community, right? Jay-Z was mentioned earlier, Nargis, you mentioned him earlier, and you kind of compared him to some of the people we were talking about, him and Beyonce, and you mentioned that though you're not a fan of like his music and him just in general, you acknowledge that they do a lot, and people tend to love them because they do a lot, but it still ain't enough. Because you still got people saying he is corrupt because yeah, he bailing niggas out of jail. He's starting all of these legal funds for people. You hear all sorts of stories about Bama paying people's taxes, getting people out bad record deals, getting Meek Mill out of jail, getting random people out of jail.
Getting their publishing back.
These stories. His wife, if you leave it to just go down the street and just talk to the random woman, might as well be God. Okay, she can't do no wrong.
Right.
But it ain't enough because he worked for the NFL, or he didn't give Dame Dash a loan, or he didn't do this. So it is like, and I'm not giving a definitive answer on this because I can see both sides, and I hate to actually do this because I feel like it's kind of a cop-out, but I do see both sides of this argument with him, with the lesser level of billionaires, the black billionaires, okay? I see how if you're Rihanna, if you're Hove, if you're LeBron James, I open the school, I do this, I do that, I'm blah, blah, blah. But it's not what is enough? Okay, that to the side. I just want to touch on everything we talked about. The next thing is, there's nothing to do about it. There are things to do about it, but they would require people to show a level of bravery, to your point, Paul, that they don't have in them, okay? We could tax billionaires hard. We could. We could, bro. And this goes to all of the conversation we've been having today about, like, what about my bottom line? Well, your wealth, 10%, 5%, 3%, 2% of your wealth distributed could take care of all sorts of shit. You could actually not tax most of the country and tax the billionaires, and the country would float and probably have more money than they have just taxing people that are barely making it, right? And so there are things we could do, and the reason why I say it confidently, because these are like actual conversations. This is Bernie Sanders' entire platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
And believe me, someone from the Bernie world is going to run for president. Either it's going to be AOC or someone that is left leaning from the far left side of the Democratic Party. Someone's going to run. Right now in Washington, D.C., we have a Democratic socialist running for mayor, Janice, okay, running against a more conservative, I don't call Kenyon a conservative Democrat, but a more traditional Democrat, okay? And we're having an ideology fight in D.C. right now, okay? D.C. wants their own Mandani. So these are going to be things, I bring this up because these are going to be conversations that are going to come up on all levels of politics in these heavy political years. You have to make a decision on whether you agree with finally getting to the point where you want to make some actual radical change, or do you want to go with status quo? And some of that radical change is going to upset some people you really love. And they're going to do everything in their power to stop it
from happening
because you're coming for their money. And they're going to tell you that it don't make sense. It won't work. It can't work. Why would that? No. Da, 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 da. And so that's why I think, the question about should, even though it's a hard thing to answer, and I agree with you, I can't even answer it. Because I support Jay-Z. I support Rihanna, even though I just admitted that her industry she's in is kind of fucked up. I support LeBron James. I support Michael Jordan. I support these people. I would like to be a billionaire one day. Why the fuck wouldn't I?
Right. Right.
Much as we struggle.
Right.
And as much as, I'm doing pretty okay, but I still got to figure out daycare. I still got to figure out mortgage. I still got to figure out, and I still would like to be able to take care of things and then also be like, yo, I don't want to have like a mental fight about whether I want to buy some sneakers or not. Right. And I also don't want to feel like if I lose my job or she lose hers, that the shit go downhill. So, of course, we all want to be wealthy.
Yes.
But how much, to both of your points, how far does it go? Jay-Z's billion is so, Jay-Z's billion is so irrelevant in comparison to Elon Musk's billion. Even someone that got 40 billion, that's $40 billion. That's power. Yeah. That's called a politician up and say, I don't want you to vote for that.
Yeah. So that's where it's a hamster wheel, because with the way the society and everything is built, respect and all those things are congruent with wealth. So what I was saying earlier, it would be like, even when we think about whether or not people should be billionaires, it would be nice for people that have more sense, like for yourself, for me, for other people that have a mindset of helping people, that have a mindset like I want like money has never mattered to me. I know that I need it. There are things that I would like to do for my family. You understand what I'm saying? There are things that I would there are things that I would like to do for my community. And I know that we all have to play this game. Like we all have to. And I don't know whether like the heart is corrupted by money, or it's just that these people are just the who and what they are already. Like I would like to think that, no, mind you, I haven't had obviously nowhere near a billion or millions to test the theory of what type of man that I would be. But I would like to think that I would still be this self-same man. So with that, I'm going in my mind, I'm going to chase after certain elements of wealth, because there are things that I want to do for my family and my community. But then at the same time, I don't ever want to become these people. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So it's such a polarizing thing.
But two things, and not because I see you thinking, so I want you to jump in right after this. Well, Paul, you can respond and you jump in. Two things. I'm not sure Oprah's a bad person. Right? I'm not sure Rihanna's a corrupted person. I'm not sure LeBron James is a corrupted person. You can like or dislike things about them, right?
Right.
Yeah, LeBron James pretends to read books. It's funny. It's like, annoying. You know,
Right.
you're not Michael Jordan, you know, ha. But none of that has to do with his character. It just all has to do with, silly,
Right.
silly shit, right?
Right.
Jay-Z, yeah, okay. You can agree or disagree. Things that seem to hurt Jay-Z, and I'm gonna make this point super fast, is the Barclays, right? And the gentrification with building the Barclays Center. That's a very New York thing. New Yorkers could tell you more about that. And the shit with Cap, right?
Right.
Okay, well, the Cap thing is just more of an opinion. I was kind of I had unpopular opinions about everything Cap was doing. We argued that on the show years ago, right? Does that mean he's a bad person? I'm not saying you call him a bad person. I'm only
Right,
making
no,
a
not
point
at
that
all.
when we
Right.
go, if you make a certain amount of money, you could just. All right, my second point, real fast, super fast. And, bro, me and you had a conversation. I hope I'm not, like, telling too much. But we were just talking about the business, right? If I need to cut this, I will. We were talking about the business, and we were talking about how our mindset, we need to change our mindset a little bit and operate differently than we used to operate back in the day, and how we can learn, not from like Elon Musk and people like that, but how we can learn from other people that we know that are a little more successful than us, and how we could take on some of that mindset. So, I'm only curious because I wonder how people find that fine line of, like, as I mentioned Kathy Hughes earlier, like, she don't play when she come in the room. All of the CEOs I've been around, the CEO I work for now, she don't play. You know what I'm saying? Having that, but also maintaining
Who you are.
that. Yeah, it's hard. And again, that's a rhetorical. I'm not expecting you to, I'm not challenging you with that. I just, it's interesting to me. You know what I mean? Because it's just this assumption that, like, if you make it to a certain, and he said it in the interview, all right, if I got $999,000
Right.
or whatever it is,
And now
once I
am I
get that
evil?
extra
Right.
dollar, now I'm an evil person. You know what I'm saying? And I think, obviously, I think that's simplifying and arguing the point. Because that's not really what people are talking about. They talk about the idea of this amount of wealth and not challenging people with this amount of wealth to participate more and help more and coming up with even laws that would force them to even do it. But still, that little small point of it is like, yeah, but why do I turn into a different person just because I reached this status? Why am I now? And why are you harsher on me than you are, the guy that has 100 billion, trillion, quadrillion dollars, you know what I'm saying? Million, quadrillion,
$1
billion dollars.
Perfillion.
Fulfillion. Yeah, I know. Y'all know nothing about that one. Man, y'all don't teach you that in school.
That's so funny.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, man, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation.
It is.
I'll make my final point. Now you jump in there. This will be my final point. I don't know how I feel. I don't think Jay-Z is the problem, but I am willing to listen to anyone that thinks he is, because I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. I'm not going to just outright dismiss it because I fuck with Hove. You know what I'm saying? But as of right now, I don't think he's the problem. Go ahead, Norris.
No, he's not the problem. I'll absolve him of that. Like, he's just, he has had a degree of success that grants him access to this particular tax bracket, and now he along with other Black celebrities, because that's what I was gonna kind of say. Like, I think we need to distinguish, like, celebrity billionaires from the average billionaire.
Right.
So that's what I was trying to look up. Like the top five richest billionaires right now in the world. 3 of those 5 we know: Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know who Sergey Brin is.
Right.
I don't know who Larry Page is.
Right.
Jensen Huang.
Yeah.
or Larry Ellison.
I know who Larry Ellison is.
I don't know
Larry
who that
Ellison.
is.
Yeah,
I don't
Larry
know who that
Ellison.
is. But
Ugh.
I'm
Yeah.
saying that to say, and again, everything might come back to social media, right? Or just the fact that we have more access to more awareness of things.
Mm-hmm.
But because we know who Oprah is, we know who LeBron is, we know who Jay-Z is, we know who Beyonce is, we feel like, again, we have this parasocial relationship with them. So there is a certain expectation we have on how we
Mm-hmm.
expect them to be and perform. This goes back to
That's a good point.
Chili and Big Boy and everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why you doing that? Why you doing
Yeah.
that? That ain't what I know you to do in the very
I thought I
limited.
knew you. Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
don't know
Right.
anything about you because I only
Right.
know you within this particular context of your
Mm-hmm.
celebrity and whatever that thing is that makes you a celebrity, right? I don't know your values, your
Right.
morals, how you do or do not sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So when we have the conversation about, when we talk about billionaires, should they exist, what they kind of represent, I mean, it is concerning that one individual can represent and amass the degree of unimaginable wealth
Mhm.
in a world, in a country where the national minimum wage is still $7.
It's 50 cents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
to this
You know
day.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so that is where it becomes like, come on, bro. Like, where is your
Yeah.
moral responsibility
Yeah.
from a humanitarian standpoint?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
answer is, I did not get this money by being a humanitarian.
How about that? How about that?
I'm not going to maintain this money for
Right.
10 generations to come. When the zombies come and all y'all die off, and I got this bunker like on Paradise, right? I'm not
Mhm.
going to ensure that my bloodline lives on
Mhm.
by being concerned about the McDonald's worker.
Right.
Because who
Yeah.
eats that anyway?
Right.
Because I promise you, Ray Kroc's family don't
Still,
know
at
what
all.
a Big Mac
At
tastes like.
all. At all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where does that leave
You
us?
see what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, where does that
Doomed.
leave us? That like
Yeah.
my
We're
point
doomed.
is like I'm very happy with the man that I am. I'm very happy with
Yeah.
Yeah.
the morality clause that I have. I'm very happy with the Black Power fist that I put up and all of the endearing epithets that I have in my heart. I'm very happy for that. But I also know
Mhm.
that like I would like a better way of life for my grandkids. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So then we have to figure out, how do we get to that? Like I would like success. I don't think that that everything successful is damning. You know what I'm saying? And part of what Jay-Z
Yeah.
said
No, I don't agree with that at all.
about I don't give a fuck about what y'all are talking about, I
No.
agree with that. Like I
Mhm.
agree with
Yeah.
a certain part of that. You understand what I'm saying? Like I agree, because we can't, like, there are so many, whenever we get to the point to define where, morality and money making coincide. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
I would love to be much more successful, to be able to do things, and I mean that for myself, for people with disabilities, for all sorts of things. I would love to have that element of wealth to be able to help. But how do we go about that and still be level? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great question. And yeah, we're not gonna be able to solve it here,
Yeah.
but I
Nah.
It's
love,
not a formalized
it's interesting.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
And
a
it's
standardized answer for that, right?
Yeah.
not at all. Not at all. And it's something interesting to think about. And I think it's
Yeah.
again one of those things that's not just going to be a podcast conversation. It's going to end
Right.
up being an actual conversation about policy. I really
Mhm.
believe in 2028 we're going to be having like a real conversation about this, because you could feel it brewing.
Yeah.
It makes me think about The Dark Knight Rises, if you ever seen The Dark Knight Rises.
Mhm.
1. 2, I watch a lot of like science fiction movies, the Alien franchise in particular, and one common theme in a lot of these like science fiction, like dystopian future worlds is like the world's run by like corporations. Like it's like 5 people that just pretty much run everything you do, and we're real close to that. But
Yeah.
if not there already, but I think about what was the movie I just named the movie before I started talking about alien and shit. Now I lost my train of thought talking about it. Oh, whatever.
I'm about
I
to
lost my
say,
train of thought.
you said
I
about a
said,
movie.
oh, damn, what did I say? I said, damn, that's going to bother me. I whole lost my train of thought. Whatever, fuck it. Let's just wrap this shit up. Hey, fuck it.
Hey man, you sick,
My
bro.
mama saying if you can't remember, it must not have been important. Yeah.
It must not have been important, right?
Dark Knight
Yeah.
Rises. That's what it was. Dark Knight Rises. There's a in the beginning of Dark Knight Rises when the Catwoman is going around robbing people, when she goes into Bruce Wayne and she's taking his little, his mom's whatever, and he goes to my mom's and she warns him. She was like, "You're not outside. You're not seeing like the people are about to eat you.
Yeah.
There's an uprise happening. You don't feel it because you up in your ivory tower and you might be Batman and all that, but you still Bruce Wayne. You still aren't seeing and feeling what people are feeling because you can't feel it." So I do believe that there's a real conversation coming
Yes.
about this. And I do believe it's going to be on the platform heavy. One, because we have a billionaire as president and he's operating like a billionaire, and he is very openly and lovingly and standing 10 toes on, I'm helping my friends, and billionaires are getting more powerful under his administration, to the point where 4 years from now, I'm not quite sure how you even turn this Titanic around. So I do think it's going to have to be a real conversation about taxes and giving back
Debt.
in order to just keep this thing afloat.
Debt.
You know what I mean? It might not work. It might not amount to anything. But there's going to be a conversation about it. And you're going to have a presidential candidate, at least in the primaries, who's going to make a lot of noise in the primaries. I don't know who that person's going to be. Okay, because again, as I mentioned before, right here in DC, right now, if you live in DC, real live, Kenya McDuffie should be a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have Silas in the morning, try and get Kenya McDuffie on the show. Okay. And Janice, we want to get both of them on the show at some point. But Kenya McDuffie should be a shoo-in. If you know DC and you know what DC likes, Kenya McDuffie should be a shoo-in.
If you're a native.
Or if you're older.
If you came to DC for college and stayed.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you're a transplant with voting rights,
something different.
Something different. And if you're just seeing the wealth gap in Washington, D.C. right now, and you can't get an apartment, you can't get a house, it's very difficult. And someone comes along, there's no disrespect to, I'm not endorsing anybody, anything like that. Someone comes along and goes, I have a solution to this, and it's something radical that you hadn't thought about. And there was a movement up in New York with Mandami, and look how excited they are. I can offer that same thing here. It's a real conversation, and it's going to spread nationally.